friends, I'm Zara Durrani. Welcome back to On Location Vancouver. Currently, I'm here at Queen Elizabeth Theatre downtown for Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week, a powerful celebration of culture, creativity, resilience, and Indigenous excellence. We're taking you behind the scenes as we meet the designers, the visionaries, the artists, the models, and the individual behind it all. Let's go dive into the beauty of Indigenous fashion. And I'm so honored to sit here with the wonderful, the extraordinary Pam Baker. And as you heard off camera, I will be wearing one of her designs to the opening night. I am so honored. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Thank you, Pam. Tell us about your involvement with Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week, other than, of course, you showcasing your designs.
Yes, when it first started, I was one of the designers. Actually, I think we showcased out here in the courtyard when the first show, and I've always been there to help and assist any way I can. I am part of the Wisdom Circle, so I do my best to assist throughout the 5 days, but otherwise I'm pretty swamped in getting ready for my day, which is Saturday.
Amazing. Yes, I heard it's the Pam Baker Day.
Yay.
So tell me about culture, art, fashion, luxury, how do you mix them all together, storytelling, how do they all come together?
You know, I do receive this question often. One thing I think about is when I went to school in Los Angeles, I went to Otis, where I received my degree, and the way they train you is about direction. And so you continually stay on direction. And in regards to my First Nations background, I am MusqamaqwDzawada'enuxw, Kwagułt, Squamish, and Tlingit. And I've grown up with the potlatch. My mother was very high ranking in her nation, and so it was my responsibility in my heart as a young kid was to learn as much as I could. So attending potlatches, attending events, it excited me to see the work of our elders, our ancestors, the museums, and also learning of what I can use and what I cannot use, especially when I'm telling a story. I just do it my way, in a very contemporary way, without crossing the lines. And when I say that, that means going into traditional ceremony.
That's really beautiful. Can you walk us through your creative process, as well as what is the inspiration behind the collection, which we'll be seeing on Saturday?
Yeah, the first part of the show, I am showcasing the Nobility Collection. And the Nobility Collection is sharing my great-great-great-grandmother's story, where she ran a Hudson. She was Tlingit, and she moved to the Northwest Coast with her husband, where they ran a Hudson's Bay store. And as I grew up, I always seen our chiefs, our women, everybody using the blanket. And so for our family, we cherish the 4-point blanket. We also, the history of our ancestor who ran a store. So this is my version, what I'm wearing, my version of the stripes. And so she was so noble. Actually, I always say she's the one who got me through school, because I always had her picture, because she was very high cheekbone, very noble. And there was a my fourth year, I was like, God, this is really tough. And I was raising 2 children. So I said, maybe I should just pack it up. And then I looked at her and I said, wait a minute, she ran a business in the late 1800s, and what am I crying about, you know? And how many women did you see, First Nations, running businesses then? So I pulled up my socks and continued with school. Then the second part of my collection is called the Undersea Kingdom. And the Undersea Kingdom is, as I mentioned my mom earlier, she was born into nobility, and she always says, I didn't ask for this, because when she was born, her dad said, male or female will take my position. And so she was born. So throughout all the history and knowing, we've been told by many when I was a kid, your mom can show anything in our potlatches, because a lot of families own their own treasure boxes. So this is my version, but it's nowhere near the way it would be in the big house. It's just sharing the story. And I'm pretty excited about it. It's been in my mind for a year, and I'm still changing things. I'm redoing, no, this doesn't look great enough on stage. So it's, and I think when you're wondering about how you start designing, a lot of us will see our pieces on stage and you'll be, yes, that's the way I envisioned it. Or you go, damn, I need to redo this thing, do this piece so that's more high-end, elite, and represents nobility and confidence for our people.
Are you going to have any elements of ceremony as part of, or any kind of, or when your models are walking down, walk us through like perhaps what we can expect this year, whether it is through hair and makeup, anything that, without giving too much away.
Oh, yeah. Well, this year we have Tia Wood opening, and we designed a piece for her for the Junos. And she said, yes, I'll totally be involved. And we have another great name who'll be closing the show. My music is composed by my grandnephew, Pam Baker, and we met and we're redoing the music because we have an opening of telling the story. When I first started doing this 35 plus years doing it, I used to commentate my shows. And I don't know if you remember or participate in shows back in the 80s, everybody commentated shows. And that way we were able to share what you're seeing on the stage. But right now it's just show the pieces and they're off. And that really has frustrated me in the past because yes, it looks beautiful on stage, but what's the story? So my music will share the story, and there's been several times where I've had a dancer come out and showcase the button blanket, how it moves. I've done the chilkat blankets that I've designed myself, and you show how that dance blanket moves and how it translates into high fashion. So the show will showcase a lot of my fun pieces that I've been envisioning for quite some time.
Brilliant. I'm so truly excited, and I know it will be very, very moving, and I'm grateful I get to be here. This is the 8th year of the Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week. How have you seen this Fashion Week grow over the last 8 years?
Wow, it's grown like crazy. We just had the one day when we first started, and then we moved to another venue. We had maybe 1.5 days. Now we have pretty much 5-6 days. And I'm thinking, geez, how am I going to handle that many days? Because, you're usually doing one day show when I go down south. It has grown to be the biggest show in Indian country in North America and representing Aboriginal designers. So it's very exciting to see and be a part of. And geez, I don't know where it's going to go next. And I'm so proud of the staff because selecting designers, who's going to showcase, who's going to be vendors, it could be very frustrating, and my hands go up to them because the work is immense. And here's the other thing. I never thought in the years I've been in this business, hearing people saying, who are you wearing? You hear that on the red carpets, who are you wearing? It's really cute because you have people getting ready for these next 5 days on what outfit they're gonna wear every day. So that's pretty exciting.
I would love to hear, I'm sure you get asked this all the time, and I'm sure you've given many talks. What would you say to someone who is aspiring, whether a stylist, a designer out there watching this right now, because you've been in the industry for close to 4 decades now?
Yeah. I do get the question often. I really encourage the young people to go and, if they can, go and work on getting a degree in the business, because we have our business kind of, I'm designing custom orders for First Nations. We've been working hard on our ready-to-wear, which has been great. The industry is tough, as I mentioned, so it would be great if they could get a head start by seeing what it's like, you know, a boss in school giving you direction and how you start envisioning and pulling together. Because of course, when I was in school, it would be probably 2.5 months before we had our final one piece. Because you met with critics, you were under pressure, you did back then, you did illustrations, painting and drawing and nonstop, and you got one piece out of the whole thing. So I would suggest that so that you can handle the pressure. And then the other thing is always treat everybody the way you want to be treated. You know, nobody's better than the other. You know, I've heard in the past some designers will walk in and that, you know, they feel like they need to be really uplifted, yet we're all in the same boat. Especially when they're coordinating Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week, they're coordinating an event that's not costing a lot of money because, you know, when you go to Milan or you go to New York, you're paying a lot of money to participate in shows. And hopefully in next year, I'm going to have a great announcement about a fabulous event we're working towards. So, and stick with it. And I usually share with everybody, eliminate 5 words from your vocabulary and you have a better chance of success. And that's, of course, the word try, and then should, can't, but, and hate. I feel like when you eliminate those 5 words, and I've shared that when I coach basketball with all my boys, I share that with when I used to be teaching models and working with, and a lot of my individuals I've worked with said, yeah, I remember that. So now I'm where I'm at because I got rid of that word try and I'm doing really well.
Over the last almost 4 decades, if you could pick 3 moments that you could share that really stand out for you, that stand out as highlights for you?
Okay, 3 moments. I guess the first one was when I was in school. I was pretty hard-headed with the head of the school because everything I did, I designed with a native touch, a touch of culture. And there was a time where one of my teachers came and I was designing motorcycles. And then I was designing other pieces with native art. And I always, finally one day I said to them, I said, look, my tribe has sent me down here and I'm going to always include native art. And whether you pretty much like it or not, I'm going to do it. And my finale piece in my senior year, I did a burnout dress with a big, beautiful ostrich coat lined with organza, so when it walked, it floated. And I did a velvet burnout devore in the dress with the native art. And they went nuts in LA. Los Angeles went nuts, so that dress went into the window of Neiman Marcus. And that was the first, and my mom, of course, who was very humble, she came down and she saw the dress. She goes, I don't know what all this hoopla is all about. It's just a dress. And I said, Mom, it's native spirit. And she just went, yeah. She was probably 80 by then. And so that was a great moment. And another one was, it's still when I was in school, I designed a piece for my son for Bum Equipment. That was a company way back then. And he won. So two years in a row, I won awards. So I thought, well, you know, and people would say, oh, you're a mature student. You know what people want. And you kind of do know what people want. Women want to look slimmer and glamorous and beautiful. And I did this piece for my son. I did a reflection tape, and I had a detachable backpack. And so that was showing the industry in LA that I could do it. And then I guess the third one would be, I would say, in longevity and always having the passion to do another collection. And every year I say, I think I might take a year off, and everybody laughs. I mean, that's just what I say in basketball too. I'm going to take a year off in coaching, and everybody says, yeah, right, you've been saying that for 20 years. So, I think I really love what I always say. Success is when you're happy doing what you love doing. Yeah.
I love that. I'm sure, again, another question you must get asked a lot. Other than your culture, where do you find you get inspiration from? Or, I'm sure as you're creating every year, you're going to be showcasing, or you tell yourself you're going to take a break. Do you go someplace particular, or you just allow it to come to you? How does that inspiration come?
I attend potlatches. As a young person, we know our mother made sure we learned that we have to attend all family potlatches. We all have to represent. We all have to witness. And thankfully, a lot of our family, younger family that we bugged when they were younger, you guys need to carry this on in the future. So being at our traditional potlatches and supporting our families always just gives you the energy to continue, because what's going on with the world, I went to a relative's potlatch not too long ago, and he worked with scientists who talked about the water and the rivers and the salmon, and there's only, I think, I don't know how many square feet up in northern Vancouver Island that's still sustainable. If a lot of I'm not really sure about the wording, but we know that our land and climate control and all of this crap that can be worked on, so we have a better lifestyle. So when I go up north, I hear, and thankfully, like a lot of our chiefs, one thing I really enjoy about my mom's nation, the Kwagułt, is that the chiefs do come together and they discuss these problems and they fight them together. I don't know, and we challenge the government, and that and it lights a fire under your butt, that what can you do to educate the world that we're still here, and while showing beautiful clothing. And people always ask me about sustainability. I say, when I have an old blanket at home, I'm not throwing it in the secondhand store. I'm making something out of it, because you're going to still wear it. When I saw a little girl, when I first started doing ready-to-wear, her mother received a piece of mine, and the little girl put it on, and she was so happy with it. So it gives identity where it needs to be given, in a sense. Young people say, wow, you finally can wear your artwork. Before you couldn't, before the potlatch ban, right? You had to be assimilated into mainstream society. So,
I'm sure you've seen so many changes in your time, and I'm sure come across a lot of adversity, a lot of bias.
Oh yeah.
A lot of, and that's why I just imagine, like, whether it's your website or your social media or events like today, that the young folks, the designers and models, just wanting to come and have that conversation with you to see how they can learn from you. Where do you think that strength comes from?
Ancestors all the time. It comes from your teachings. And that's something that really saddens me, because, a lot of our kids get lost in society, and they're very hungry for their teachings. So that's where I get it from, is my mom was very, very stern. You had to sit a certain way. You had to carry yourself a certain way. Every time we went to our villages, you couldn't go out and party and act up and get a name. You had to really work hard on gaining respect. So that's where I get it from. And, I always have to hold myself up high. I have to sit up straight. I have to, and I still, it's in my mind forever. So, of course, that's what I've taught my sons. Teaching my grandkids, and respect has been lost, and it's not the fault of the young people. It's what's happened in society in the past, because, you know, you all had duties within your tribes. I say tribes because I lived in the States along. In your nations, you had your jobs and your duties to take care of, and depending on your ranking in your nations.
Brilliant. Pam Baker, thank you once again for joining us.
Hoicho.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week. The artistry and storytelling we witnessed today reflect not only immense talent, but also deep cultural legacy and pride. Until next time, I'm Zara Durrani, and this has been On Location Vancouver, brought to you with the support of TELUS StoryHive. Thank you for joining us for this episode of On Location Vancouver. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please scan the QR code and someone from our team will be in touch. We'll see you soon.